In this video, we're going to be looking at how you add and subtract fractions that have both the same denominator and a different denominator. And the easiest type is when you're adding and subtracting fractions that have the same denominator. Let's take an example. Let's say we're going to do 1/4 plus 2/4. Now, if you think about a circle or slices of a pizza, if I take one and I chop it into quarters, and I take one slice of a pizza and I take two slices of a pizza, then in total I have 3 slices of the quarter, or 3/4. So when we're adding or subtracting fractions that have the same denominator, it's the number at the bottom, we just add or subtract the numerators. Let's take another example. Let's say I was going to do 3/4 plus 7/4. Now in this case, the denominators are the same, they're both 4. So all I need to do is add the numerators together. 3 plus 7 is 10, so my answer is 10/4, or 10/4. You want to simplify the fraction down as much as you can. So because they're both even, we can divide by 2. I get 5/2. And if you want to leave it as a mixed number, you can leave it as 2.5, as opposed to a top-heavy fraction. Let's take another example. Let's say we had 12/9 minus 5/9. The denominators are still the same. They're both 9. So we do 12 minus 5 for the numerators, leaving me with 7. And my answer is 7/9. So the golden rule is when the denominators are the same, you just do the addition or the subtraction with the numerators. Now let's take an example where the denominators are not the same. Let's say we had 1/3 plus 1/4. The goal is to make the denominators the same. One of the things that students often do wrong is they just add the numerators and then add the denominators together. So we add the numerators getting 2 and the denominator getting 7. That is incorrect. Do not do that. What we need to do is we need to make the denominators the same. So we think about the lowest common multiple of 3 and 4, i.e. what's the smallest number that's in both the 3 and 4 times tables. We're looking at the 3 times tables, we're looking at the 4 times tables, and we think of the smallest number that's in both is obviously 12. So what I want to do is I want to make the denominators become 12. And I think, well, how do I get from 3 to 12? I multiply by 4. So let's multiply this whole fraction by 4. Remember, what you do to the top, you do to the bottom. So 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. We've got the denominator that we want. And exactly the same logic here, we times this one by 3. So that gives me 3/12. Finally, now that the denominators are the same, you can simply add or subtract them as needed. And I get 7/12. 4 plus 3 is 7. Let's do another example, this time with subtraction. Let's say we wanted to do 7/3 minus 2/5. Now we think about what the common denominator is going to be, i.e. what is the smallest number that's in the 3 and 5 times tables. It's 15. So I'm going to multiply this fraction by 5 and this fraction by 3. 5 times 7 is 35 and 5 times 3 is 15 as we wanted. And we'll do the second fraction times by 3. So 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 5 again is 15. Now we've got the denominators the same, it's really easy, we can just subtract them. 35 minus 6 is 29/15. And if you want to leave it not as a top-heavy fraction as we've got at the moment, but as a mixed number, I can just leave it as 1 and 14/15. And that won't simplify down anymore. So there you have it. To add and subtract fractions, make the denominator the same by looking for the lowest common multiple, and then just add or subtract the numerators as the question requires you to do so.